Excuse me.
Yeah. No, that's helpful for
What other
sure.
questions do you guys have? What
I,
else is going
I,
on your mind?
yeah, I kind of have the same question, and I'm kind of worried that a lot of my people that I have a hard time with the transition for sellers. It's very easy for buyers, but a lot of my stuff comes from my sphere of influence, and by the time I pass them off, I feel like, I'm going to lose them. But I mean, are you saying it's just let them go, or that's in
Oh,
my
no,
head?
I never lost one. What I did with the gal that I had trained up who eventually bought my business when she started doing listings, the first thing I had her do is I had her spend 3 months doing nothing but going on listing appointments in an area of town that we would never take the listings, and she had to turn them down, which means she got really good at presenting because she knew she didn't have to be attached to telling me she didn't get the listing. So I made it really easy for her. I mean, we celebrated every time she came back and said, I turned it down. They wanted me. That's good. After she did that, then I moved her into doing listings. And I said, you're going to do all the listing appointments that I get that are below, this goes back a ways, below 150,000. And I live in Kentucky. So, below 150,000. She said, great. And I said, here's what we're going to do. When I talk to them, I'm going to say, okay, when would be a good time to meet? Tomorrow. Great. Would tomorrow at noon or 2 be better? Oh, tomorrow at 2 would be better. Wonderful. So just so you know, I'm going to do some research. My partner, Allison, and I are going to sit down and really take a look at the market and where we need to be price-wise to help you. So tomorrow at 2, one or the other of us will be there to go through this process with you.
Good.
I've always referred to her as my partner. I referred to everyone on my team as my partner. I never said my buyer's agent or my showing agent. Everyone's a partner. That gives them credibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, and funny, my partner ended up going on those. She took every one of them. She never lost one, but she'd spent 3 months doing that practice that helped her. And there were some that say, oh, no, I want you here. Oh, no worries. That's not a problem. I'll see what I can do to change my schedule. And a lot of times on those in the beginning, I would go with her. We would go together. So it's a process.
Debbie, what else was this person doing for you as she was going out learning and turning down? I haven't heard this story. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
You train somebody to get so good they were chomping at the bit to have her, and she's like, no, I'm not going to take your listing. Thank you. And walking away and celebrating that, which is awesome. A, how was she paying bills? B, what else was she doing at the time?
Okay. So she would say, I really appreciate that you want to list your home with me. And I have a partner that works this area that I'm going to have her come in and do this because I think she's got some knowledge here that I don't have. And we had a person in a town, we actually had more than one, that she would refer them to. And a lot of times we got referral fees.
Beautiful. Okay.
But so she referred them to somebody. And then when at that point, what she was doing for me, she'd actually worked listing manager, closing manager, buyer's agent. She was my buyer coordinator. Her job was managing the buyer's agents and the buyers. Her job was to be that go-to person because we had it set it up for our buyers. All our buyer's agents get the person, find the house, sign the contract, never talk to them again.
Got it.
Then it goes to the buyer coordinator and the transaction manager, and they take it to closing. Well, it worked well because as the buyer coordinator, she's on the phone with these buyers every day. How did the showing go yesterday with Bob? Did you like that house on Tucker Station? Excellent. Should we get you back in for another showing? So she was helping the buyer's agents who were getting 35%. So understand, they weren't getting very much, but we were doing a ton of back office stuff to make them look good. And they stopped when the contract was signed. So they could sell another house in the amount of time they had to negotiate the home inspection and get it to the closing. We were making it very streamlined for them.
Okay.
And because I didn't want to have buyer's agents on my team at that time. I eventually did. So she was the buyer coordinator. So her ability to talk with people got a lot better and coordinate with an agent and the agent and the client. And so she was still doing that and getting 10% of every deal. Okay. So they got 35. Okay. She got 10. That was 45. I got 55.
Just
So-
wanted to be clear for everybody else before they sent anybody out to the backwoods for 90 days practicing their listing
She
appointments.
can't have income.
That there's more behind that, guys. Yes. Okay.
And she was also prospecting every day along with me
Love it.
for those listings. So she got good at doing that. I wanted her to be as good as I thought I was before she bought my business, because I knew I'd make more money, because typically people don't have cash to pay you for your business. So she was paying me 40-45% referral fees on everything for 3 years. She was good.
Wow.
Other questions? I've either got them thinking or shut them
I
down.
I think recruiting help would be great for me personally.
There
How
is
to recruit. Yeah.
a fabulous book, and I recommend this all the time. It's by Jocelyn Hollow, and her name is spelled Yoselyn. It's a Y, but it's pronounced Jocelyn. Last name Hollow, Hollow. And it's called Putting the U in Recruiting. Putting the U in Recruiting. She bought a Remax franchise in Fort Myers, Florida, and took it from 80 to 160 agents in about 18 months. That's some recruiting. And she goes through everything she did. And I mean, the scripts, my absolute favorite I'll share with you is that every agent, when they had a closing and it came in for the checks to be cut, they received a survey from her. How would you rank this agent on a scale of 1 to 10, the cross-selling agent? Would this agent be someone you'd recommend to join our office or our team? And if it was a no, it was a no. She asked a few more questions. If it was a yes, she called the other agent and said, hey, I just wanted to say congratulations on that cross deal you did with my agent, Don Jacks. And I have to tell you, I was asking him on a scale of 1 to 10, what he thought, how you did as an agent. And you know what? He said you were a 9. Would you like to know what he said would make you a 10? Yeah, sure. If you joined our team. Oh, I'm happy where I am. Of course you are. Well, listen, why don't we just get together for a cup of coffee and talk about your experience and just talk about your business? You know, there's a lot of ways we could end up doing business together. You don't have to join our team, but we could talk. And then she'd set up coffee, meet him for coffee, bring him to the office. And she was very, and it says in the book, it was real simple. She would come in, and by the time they were done, they would either agree to continue and join the team or office, or they'd be done. She didn't pursue people forever. She said, if it's somebody you got to pursue forever, that's never going to work. But it's a really, really good book. And she has other things that she did as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a big
The
help.
co-op call. Hey, Todd, sound familiar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that from Emily.
Yes.
I have a question.
Joe.
I got something else that I've been working on that's going to be launching pretty soon. So I'm looking to step back as day-to-day rainmaker for the team. And so I'm exploring options between merging with another team and making that team leader like the day-to-day team leader, like the COO. I'll be CEO. My responsibilities would be coaching, recruiting, leadership, strategies, things like that, but get me out of day-to-day sales. The other option would be hiring an ops manager and team leader to be the day-to-day. And again, let me be CEO and kind of run the show, but not be in the day-to-day sales. Do you have an opinion of which way is better? Or
lots of opinions, just ask my husband. My first question though would be this. You said merge or buy, but if you're going to be the CEO, aren't you buying that other team?
Well, we would be 50-50 partners in it. We'd be creating a new entity.
Would be 50-50, but
Yeah.
you'd be the one in charge, which I absolutely like that approach.
Yeah.
If financially taking over that team and splitting with your team 50-50, are your numbers about the same for both teams?
They actually are, yeah.
So the thought would be, if we merge, I'm still going to be making the same money, that's not exactly how it works out. You'll probably take a bit of a dip before you start to again.
Yeah, well, because I also won't be making as many of my commissions because I'm not going to be selling. I'm going to be.
I think you could go either way.
Okay.
If you were asking me what I would do, I'd hire an ops Sometimes it's really hard when you have a 50-50 partner. I just went through this. My aunt died. Her 4 sons were partners in a big quarry concrete business. So there was never a tiebreaker. So they could never get along. They could never make decisions, and they ran it in the ground.
Right.
So I'd rather be the guy and have an ops manager. Now, maybe you could go to this business and say, hey, I'd like to make you my ops manager if that's what that guy does well, if that's not his personality type, because certain personality types aren't very good as ops managers.
Me.
That would be the drivers.
Yeah.
They need to be the leader.
Yep. So
I would lean towards an ops manager scenario, which could maybe be done with this other team or not. That would be a Dom Jax thing. You all have to work through all of those details.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Awesome. I know you were talking about the culture is really important. Have you ever seen anyone do a good job of promoting their culture to attract agents? Like, I'm trying to find a way to do that versus, it's hard for me to make the outbound recruiting calls. I think a lot of it's in my head, but I pretty much have a good relationship with everyone in our marketplace already. So
it's the good news is we acknowledge these things.
Okay, right.
It is in your head, and it's not insurmountable.
Right.
I think that anytime you do anything, and you might want to follow, you all might want to check out Karen Peters, Shannon McCarthy, Treasure Davis, and I could think of more, but I'm not thinking all of them. They just jumped to my mind first today. And look what they do. Post everything you're doing all over social media. There was one that Treasure recently posted. They were doing something for other agents in the community, and there was a winner, and they were posting all that. All that kind of stuff speaks to your culture. And I know there's other great teams out there that you guys should probably be following on all their social media to see what they do and rip off and duplicate it. There's a ton of great, Tom Toole, I'd follow anything Tom Toole does. And I know there's more out there. I'm just not thinking of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's in my market.
Oh, well, then follow him.
Yeah. Okay.
Why not? But I do think the big thing for all of us is in our head. That whole idea of becoming that leader. Most people, and this is more women than men, I don't want to be a leader. I don't want to have to be that responsible for all this. There are a lot of people that feel that way. At the end of the day, you have to change your thinking. By being a leader and growing a team, you're helping a lot of people put food on the table. You're helping a whole lot of people get a good agent, because if they don't work with your agents, they have to work with an idiot. You think about what you're doing for these agents and for the community, because most of them aren't getting it from their brokerages.
Yeah.
Turn those tables. Don't be in your head. Think about what you're giving back, how you're helping others. And in turn, you win too.
Great thought. Great thought.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really what it's all about.
That still resonates with me, Brian, about the solution we're talking about, man.
Yeah.
Record everything, make everything content. You're doing a lot of good work with your team to share that with the world. That'll attract them more than anything.
In my location, there is no big team. I think the biggest team we have is probably mine in my town. And
what town are you in, Ashley?
Jefferson City, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think probably an obstacle I have to overcome, and it's probably an easy one to do, is people think that I don't want any more team members. And just getting the word out that, we are hiring and we are recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's something that, this is a smaller town, and it's something that is just, big teams are not a thing here.
Well, I think one of the ways, no matter where you are, to become the person people want to work for, is you be the best person you can be in every transaction you do And every transaction anyone on your team does, that should be driven home to everyone on the team. You do return all calls. You do respond to all texts. Don't be that agent. Because when you're that agent, nobody's going to want to work for you. Because all they do is talk about how, and you do, think of the agents you go, well, they never return anybody's phone calls. You know, they ghosted me, or I go to show the house and it's sold and they didn't bother to tell me. You all have stories like that. Don't be that story. Don't let anybody on your team be that story. And I have about 5 more minutes because I'm doing another webinar at the top of the hour. I really did screw this up, Don, and I am sorry.
We're going to get you back for another,
Oh
Debbie.
my God.
Yeah.
Anytime. I love sharing all the bad stuff I did so you guys don't do it, and all the good stuff our agents have done.
Sweet. Okay, then let me ask a question. What is the biggest mistake that you made in growing and selling the team? What is the most colossal mistake you see agents or team leaders make time and time again? What 1, 2, or 3 of them, Debbie, if there's not a big colossal one that stands out?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of mistakes I made.
I know, that's why I tried to isolate the top couple. Yes, we all have that list.
And I think Tom wasn't the Tom we see today. You know, when I started coaching with Tom, he looked like he was 12. I think he was 20. And he didn't know anything about real estate. And I didn't know anything about coaching. And we just kind of grew through all of those years from 93 to 04 when I left and started helping him build a company. I think probably the biggest thing that I did was resist. And I did have a couple other coaches during that time frame for a little while. But I think that I was afraid to be a yes. You know, I'm in Kentucky. The average commission's 11 cents. That won't work here. You know, I'm in Kentucky. You know, you don't understand. I go to houses that are foreclosed and I open the door and everything's taken out, including the floor joists. When people leave a house, they take everything here. You know, that won't work. And I just didn't want to be a yes sometimes. And I think how much faster I could have grown and how much better I could have done had I been more of a yes. Instead of saying that won't work and resisting, I should have said, okay, I want to be a yes. Convince me. I just need a little bit of just a couple more words from you to get it. Maybe I'm a little slow here, but I really want to be a yes here. Help me be a yes in the next 5 minutes. Help me be a yes. I wish I had been confident enough to say that instead of feel fearful enough to resist. Probably the biggest thing.
Great answer. Great answer. Beautiful.
You know what? As a coach, the only thing we care about is that we help you achieve whatever your definition of success is, whatever it is. And it may not be more money. It may not be a big team. It may be a SEAL team. Treasurer only wanted a SEAL team. She only wanted those 4 agents. And I think she's got 15 or 18. I don't know now. And that was okay because at that time, that's what she needed. She was a yes to what she knew she could master. And that was okay. And then we got to where she was ready to grow. So, you know, be real straightforward. Help me. Give me 5 minutes to help me be a yes here. I really want to be a yes. Instead of saying that won't work. Because that won't work shuts everything down.
I love that. I have one more question. If we have 2 minutes and nobody else has one, I think you guys will all appreciate this. 2 minutes on staying a SEAL team or going extra large. Something Tom started talking about a lot at the summit, Debbie, and I know he's talking about it now, and I know there's a couple conversations I'm having on the screen here about that also.
About which one to do?
Yes, how to come to the conclusion to grow and what's big. Is it 20, 50, 500?
You know, I think big is what you can manage in the moment, because as your team grows, you're going to grow as well, and you can grow into more. Treasurer only wanted to be a SEAL team because these guys were all producing. Her lowest agent was at 45 deals a year when we got this team going. And her highest was at 60, and obviously they all moved up considerably. And it became the only thing to do. There's only so many deals 4 people can do. And the marketing was working, and the culture inside was working, and they were just growing so fast that they had to. And yeah, there were some bad hires, there were some hiccups along the way, and that's going to happen. I think you really got to look at what makes me happy. If it's helping a lot of people, then grow a big team. If it's, I just want this kind of money, I can manage this, I'm making a great profit, I'm happy doing this and taking time off, then maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe you don't want to have a huge team. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to it. I think it's based on where we are in our headspace at that moment, which can and will change, what we can handle. Because the other thing you have to look at is what's going on in my family life. Do I have a bunch of kids? You know, like the Jinx, I got 9 kids. That takes time. You know, that's a lot of work. What else is happening? I know a guy that I met at the summit, and he's really big on his charity stuff. He doesn't want to give that up. I think you have to look at what you need financially, what makes your heart sing. And it's okay that as you do that, you may decide to grow bigger, and that's okay. Tom's probably going to talk about, you know, bigger and bigger for us as teams is probably better. Individual solo agents are going by the wayside.
Yeah.
They need to be on a team. But it's a process for us as well. And again, just to embrace where you are, and then however that works for you, grow at whatever level you think you can grow at a given time. And if you're not going to grow and you're happy and you're making money, be happy and make money. See, there's no wrong answer here.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Debbie, I know you have 4 minutes until the next call. Thank you.
Yeah, let's do it
Really
again, guys.
appreciate you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
put
Thank
something
you,
else on the
Debbie.
books.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Debbie,
Thanks
thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thanks a lot.
You guys, I did record this one. Was that worth it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
awesome.
I'm going to share this around, share with team members, watch, rewatch, and I want to make sure those of you, our group that weren't able to be here, I want to make sure they got this conversation. If you want, I will reschedule another conversation in a couple of months, maybe at the beginning of the year, with Debbie. She just has a ton of great insights to share, guys. Always.
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right. Love you
All right.
guys. Have a great
Thanks, Don.
weekend. Happy
See you
selling.
guys.
Happy
Thank you.
recruiting.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. Have a good one. Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.